Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV and the Football Politics Show. We're back again with the Man United Agenda's Mr. B. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. Evening.
A little bit sore from yesterday. It could have been worse, I guess, Mr. B, right? 1-1, like, it hurt a little bit, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. It hurt quite a lot if I'm honest. But look, let's yeah, it hurt a lot. I'll leave it at that for a little while. Yeah.
I'm guessing you'll talk about it later with all the guys, right? You're on there tonight, so
Yeah, I'm on there tonight. I'm sure we'll pick a few pieces out of the puzzle of the shit that went on last night. But yeah.
Well, let's delve straight into it then, Mr. B. We're talking about a tragic thing that happened a couple of years ago for Flamengo, which is a team in Rio, I believe. And there was a fire at the training facilities, and 10 youth players lost their lives tragically. And it's still an ongoing thing with Flamengo. And I wanted to bring it up as well because Marley talked about it, because I said about Pereira going to Flamengo recently from Man United.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought it to my attention, and I realized, actually, I remember about that happening, but it never really made big news over here in Europe. And we were just saying, Mr. B, as well, how if this sort of tragedy had happened in Europe, it would have been a big deal. I mean, what do you make of what you read on it and what you saw on it?
I mean, I'll be honest. I was surprised. I hadn't heard a thing, nothing at all. I mean, considering that Flamengo are in the World Club Cup most years, you would have thought that it might have been not a specific topic that was brought up, but something that would have been maybe a side issue. You know, you're talking about the team, blah, blah, commentators, and then you mention, oh, this year they had a fire or whatever. It was nothing. It's been really quiet. So when I read it, I thought, okay, maybe it was a thing where there wasn't any deaths. But then when you read that there's 10, you're thinking, okay, well, there has to be some sort of major. It just seems to have kept really, really quiet. Now, I don't know if it's because Flamengo, they started off as the people's club, and now it's probably gone a little bit more corporate, but it just seems to be that they're really trying to keep it hush-hush. And when things like that are tried to be kept really quiet, you're thinking, I wonder if there's something deeper, because obviously where the fire was is the extension. They've built, obviously, once the money men came in, they've tried to extend, training facilities, pitches, blah, blah, blah. And it happened in, one of the training facilities where the young kids, stayed overnight and that. So was it something that was rushed and quickly built, not built to standard, not built for purpose, just built for the sake of it being built, so they can say, oh, we've got our new training ground or something like that. So I don't know if it was corners being cut, but it just seems to be like there's a lot of people trying to cover it. Yeah, people trying to cover their backs in it. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I was reading I think, what was it, 10? No, how many? Three families have been sorted out the compensation, which is crazy, right? Because it's been so long, mate. Like just only 3 players, and they've lost like their whole career now. And I think they're meant to pay them these wages up until, I think it's a 40th something birthday.
Okay, is that the 10,000? Is that the 10,000 a month Brazilian? I don't know what they call. What's the Brazilian money called?
Oh, so wish Marley was here for that.
I don't know what the Brazilian money is called, but is it money saving? Is it heartless? They've done nothing. So
they didn't even reach out to the families, mate, and they didn't even attend the funerals, apparently. And apparently as well, a lot of Flamengo fans trying to hide it as well because they love the club so much. but it's obviously the board, isn't it? And I know that the board are they're followers of the president of Brazil, and I know he's a very controversial figure as well. So there's something to do with their sponsor this year as well. People were having a bit of a moment.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, like you said, there's got to be something deeper about it. So it could be to do with politics. I mean, what do you think, mate? I mean, it's a difficult one.
It's always to do with politics. Let's be honest. It's always to do with somebody trying to cover their arse. But there has to be a level where there has to be a level of compassion shown, and it doesn't look like there's been any level at all. It just looks like they've gone about their business, tried to keep everything quiet. I mean, the people who have been paid aren't talking now. They're not complaining. Have they been overpaid? Have they been paid to keep their mouth shut? You know, the other few people who are waiting to be paid, are they waiting for more money? Do they want it? Do they not care about the money? You know, the camp that I would probably more be in regards to, you want answers. You want to know why they couldn't get out, wonder why there was only one exit. You know, I don't know if this is standard practice in Brazil, but you've got a dorm and you've only got one way in and one way out. It doesn't really sound, but I mean, that might be how they do it. That might be the normal South, you know, the normal way that they do things, you know? So
Do you think though that because it's in South America that and it hasn't happened in Europe, it's bad that no one's really got involved from over here and governing bodies from, say, FIFA? I mean, shouldn't they get involved and spread the word of what's going on and maybe try and change the way that things are dealt with when it comes to tragedies like this? Because we had it at Hillsborough as well, didn't we? To be fair, you know, the whole police cover up and that for years. It took so long just for the families to get some sort of compensation or just some realization that it's
closure.
Yeah, closure as well. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the thing is, as long as people want to cover their arse, then there's always going to be a trail of bullshit in regards to them trying to stop themselves getting into trouble. You know, so that's where I think that's probably where it is at the moment. People don't want to take the blame. People aren't accepting or don't want to accept the blame. I mean, you accept that, okay, then you might accept that you built it to spec. They told you to have one entrance or whatever. It then comes out that it's not in writing, but you've built it. Then maybe they're thinking, well, they've got to cover themselves because they don't want to get done or whatever. But it just, if it was a European thing, it probably would have been, actually, it would have been, if it was a UK thing, we say it would have been dealt with, but Hillsborough's taken forever and a day, and they've only just realised that a lot of it was bullshit that they were saying. So it might be a thing where the parents of these children pass away before the real story comes out. And then guess what? Flamengo, it's not forgotten, but if you're already saying that you see the fans are already trying to distance themselves from it, not all of them, because it's never going to be like that. You know, you've got your friends, you've got the but if you've got a majority that are willing to brush it under the carpet, then it makes it easier for the heads to brush it under the carpet. If there's no pressure, I mean, we say that there was 10 families, 3 have been paid. I mean, the time, obviously, the time scale from now to now, they might have paid off another 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, you know? Yeah. So then is it then the fact that they were just waiting, they've accepted that their loved ones are gone? Are they just going to sit down there, be waiting now? I mean, you want closure. You know, you want to know, regardless of what you're getting paid. It seems weird. A lot of these things seem to be done for money. You know, they're holding out for the extra, you know, all right, favelas, we understand. And that's where it could be as well. You know, these families, they're really brought up in poverty, you know, so it could be that they've just accepted a fee, you know, and how long is it going to last? And really, are they going to be able to move out of the favela, or are they just going to be rich in the favela, which means that everybody knows they're rich, you then become a target. So it's hard.
I do believe Flamengo are one of the richest clubs in Brazil. They earn most from sponsorship deals, and like you said as well, they're in quite a lot of the Copa Libertadores finals, etc. They've won it, World Club Cups. So they are a well-recognised team. They brought out players like Ronaldinho, I believe, as well. So they definitely have money. So maybe, like you said as well, the fact that they are brought up from poverty, that some of these fans that went through this, and they've paid them a hell of a lot of money that really would change their life. It might not be a lot compared to a lot of people over here, maybe, but there, if they give them like a certain amount and they go, bloody hell, never see this in 2 lifetimes, then that might be the reason why. But I still think it should be brought up, and I'm glad we're talking about it, because it happened a couple of years ago. But I mean, like I said, with Pereira going there, and people were sort of apparently people were like,
yeah,
you're going to a club that's not respected. So
I mean, do you think? I mean, Pereira, do you think he? Look, I'm going to look at it from a Man United point of view. They're not paying anything for him to come over there. He's got a year left on his contract, so really, we've washed our hands. Man United as a club looks like they've washed their hands of Pereira. He's been out on loan more times than he's been at the club, so expect that he's. So, do you think he's thinking, well, do you know what? I go there, I'm not going to stay there anyway, so whatever flack I get is only going to be for a year. He's a free. He can go in where he wants after that. Doesn't have to stay in Brazil. He can go Saudi Arabia, pick up he might come back to the Premier. He could go for. So it'd be his option. Do you think then that maybe he is willing to accept the flack that he may get in regards to future earnings and maybe, looking after himself like that?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so, because I mean, you got to look. He wasn't getting in the Man United team. No one's been trying to pick him up anyway, have they? So look, Flamengo were probably the team that were like, look, you can come home. You're closer to your family, your relatives, your friends, and you might be able to get a deal back in the Prem or La Liga or something if you do well here. And they're not respected because of their off the field stuff, Flamengo. But like we said, they are a decent team. They are well known, like for bringing really good talent to the table. So he probably might look at it like that. And he wants first team football, doesn't he? But I don't know what he feels about this situation, whether he would ever say anything about it, or whether he's been made aware that he could get flack for it, because apparently, according to certain people that I talked to from Brazil, not just the one who we know, but they're saying that they all think, oh dear. I spoke to someone today as well. I was like, do you support Flamengo? And he's like, no. I don't support. I never support. Like, so outside of Flamengo, they're hated for their off the field.
See,
stuff.
so yeah, I mean, and that makes it even weirder that it's still been kept quiet. If there's so much, not so much, maybe not hatred, it's a lot of jealousy, maybe mixed up jealousy, that somebody hasn't tried to explode the whole thing. I don't think Pereira gives a shit. I'll be honest. He'll be there for a year. He'll earn the money. I mean, Chris, was he born in Brazil?
Ooh, I'm not too sure about that. I know there's a connection with another country, maybe, with him.
Yeah, see, that's what I was wondering. I'm wondering if he's Brazilian, but he's never played for Brazil or never played in Brazil. I'm not sure if...
I think it's called kind of like, what's his name for, who played for Chelsea and Atletico Madrid? Costa, yeah. So he's from Brazil, but he plays for Spain, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's like that with him, because it might be a thing where he's just gone, let's be honest, nobody in the Prem was taking him. Nobody in Europe was going to take him. So that's the only place he really could have gone, bar MLS. And MLS is sort of the death of your career, really, isn't it? If you go to the MLS. So you can't knock the fact that he wants to get paid and he wants to play football. Maybe there was nowhere else to go. As I said, maybe there was just nowhere else to go, and he's going to have to suck it up for 12 months.
By the way, it's no disrespect to Flamengo. By the way, if you are a Flamengo supporter and you are
sorry,
you are a good club. That it's all about the fans, and it probably is a bit divided with the fan base on the whole situation. So, if you have any thoughts or comments on it, please do get in touch with us and teach us more, because we're trying to learn and understand it ourselves. This is the whole point of the show. So yeah, we should just leave it there then. Yeah, right. Rest in peace as well to the youth players as well that suffered. Yeah, 10 youth players lost their careers in a fire for Flamengo. So yeah, go look it up, everybody. Go check it out. It's very sad to hear that it actually happened. Hasn't been spread around the media around the world, unfortunately. And I just wanted to bring it up and let people know that tragedies, when they do happen, they need to be brought up, because it can happen at any club, can't it, Mr. B? Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
And we'll go on to which is our next subject, actually, talking about things where people can't handle situations. But first off, let's shout out some comments. Talk MU, big up. Amondi, looking forward to the show. Respect Matt and Co. Big up, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. I had a haircut as well, and you still call it crazy. Oh, Mr. B, respect, man.
Oh,
little kiss there for you as well. See, it's all ladies going on tonight. All the love, you know what I mean? Great show as always. Thank you, mate. Oi, locked in from Marbella. What are you doing? You should be out clubbing, shouldn't you? In Marbella, shouldn't you? You should be on the beach.
It's the drinks. It's in the drinks gap.
Will I be seeing you in a bit, Matt? Yes, you will, mate. Have some dinner and all that, and then I'll jump onto your first ever stream. Please do go check that out as well. The match reviewer from Tiho from east side of Holland, it is, I believe. Sports FC 20. Big him up. And Amondi, terrible disaster, so sad. Sounds like some hush hush, as Mr. B says. If families have been paid, have the club been made liable? Nope, pretty much.
Nope.
Because that's what I think about the link as well with the government. If the government don't care and they're linked with the club in some sort of way, then they won't want to really go into it, will they? I know, it's horrible. So let's move on to not necessarily a tragedy, but a disaster in Ligue Un last night, Mr. B. Kind of funny in some respects and awful in other respects because of what was being thrown at the players and how the fans got onto the field, mate. Nice versus Marseille, the match was abandoned. Fans were throwing rockets and plastic bottles at the Marseille players pretty much throughout the whole game. Apparently, even before the game started, there were piles of bottles on the pitch they had to clear. And the fans easily got on the pitch, didn't they, Mr. B, and tried to fight with the players. And then there was a big scuffle in the tunnel. And what did you make of it, Mr. B? What did you make of it?
I'm not gonna lie. When things like that happen, maybe this is a bit. I think it's quite funny in it. So I did sit down there chuckling. Rightly or wrongly, if it's wrong, I'll hold up my hands and I'll say, "Look, I'm sorry." But from what I heard and from what you see and from what they've said, they, as you said, they'd been throwing bottles throughout the whole game at corners. A bottle hit Payet in his neck, and then he threw the bottle back. And that's when everything sort of kicked off. So, what do you do? I mean, you can't fence them in. You don't want to fence fans in, but they've only just come back and they're probably going to get a big stadium ban now I understand animosity. My mind, I can't think why you would go to a game to watch a match and want to be throwing stuff at the players. So for it to happen, I just don't understand. I can't comprehend it. There's some people are saying Payet shouldn't have thrown the bottle back. Come on, man. You can only take so much. As a human, you can only take so much. And the fact that it hit him, then you've got to understand where the red mist came from. The game, the fans, it just seemed like it was more about, from the players' side of it, self-protection. You've got Marseille fans, you've got Nice fans, because they were saying that it didn't seem like they were segregated. Because Marseille is such a big club, they had fans everywhere. So once it kicked off, you've obviously got the Nice fans wanting to attack the Marseille players, the Marseille players and coaching staff wanting to protect themselves. Then you've got the Marseille fans now coming on to protect their players, but fight. It was absolute chaos. Disbelief. Absolute disbelief. Absolute disbelief.
I watched it, mate, and I was like, there was no, like, I think like Mundi says there, which is a really good statement. No police, just stewards. You can see some of the stewards were like, I don't get paid enough to stop them fellas out there at the front there with the big beer bellies. I don't get paid enough to hold him back. Sorry. And there just was no control in that way. I mean, it kind of reminds me similar thing that happened obviously in Euro, the Euro 2020 final at Wembley. There was no control. Breaking in, it was mental. But yeah, no. I mean, what do you think should happen with that? I mean, Marseille obviously abandoned the game themselves. Nice wanted to go back on the field to finish the game. They were 1-0 up. I know it was involving Payet as well, wasn't it? From who was at West Ham, and Guendouzi was there as well, getting involved. I think he had a busted lip. Not Guendouzi. Payet had a red mark apparently on his back from one of the bottles. It must have been a proper bottle, like not a plastic. We're talking about probably a full beer as well. It's probably going to be beer. I can't imagine it being Ribena.
The thing is, obviously they're gonna wanna blame somebody, but who takes the blame? I mean, if you're allowed bottles into the stadium for one, then can they say it's the club's fault for letting the bottles in? But then they've been throwing bottles for years, and let's be honest, if it's not a bottle, they'll find something else to throw. They get those big flares, they're not little pocket lighter ones. They're these big things that they're getting into the stadium. And as Amundi said, their ultras seem to run or seem to have a lot of power within what happens at the club. So I'm not sure what they're going to blame somebody, but it's probably going to be the person who was least at fault, if you see what I mean, or somebody who doesn't have the voice to complain or kick up a stink or something. But no doubt they're going to ban Payet because they'll probably say he incited it. But then you've got to look at it from his side, If he didn't get the bottle thrown at him, then he wouldn't have reacted how he did. Another big load of chaos. I mean, I don't understand the rivalry. I'm a bit ignorant to the Ligue Un football, but Marseille seem to be wanting to be fighting everybody. Are they enemies with everybody? Are they like the Millwall, where everybody just hates them full stop? Or is it just that specific with Nice?
Well, do you know, Mr. B, if you change around the pronunciation of Marseille, it's Martial for martial arts. They love their fighting. That's how I pronounce it. Martial Arts FC. But mate, I don't know what it is with Marseille. They have a history of that anyway. It's weird. They have I mean, it wasn't Marseille, was it anyway? It's Nice fans, isn't it, that were doing it? But I'm pretty sure the Marseille fans were trying to run on as well at the other end. But Marseille are usually the ones that are known for their ultras. Nice, not usually. They're usually a nice team. But I don't get it, Mr. B. I mean, if that happened over here, I always have to put it in Premier League perspective. It'd be an outrage. I mean, we'd be talking about it for weeks. There'd be like Boris Johnson would come up and have a speech about it. But I mean, it doesn't
shutting it down. Yeah. I mean, look, there's a message. Sorry, I can see a message from Match Reviewer. He's saying that Marseille and Nice is probably the most heated derby in league. As I said, I'm so ignorant. I'm just so ignorant to these things. You know, I just thought that everybody just hated PSG because of the money, and everybody else got and everybody else not got on, but to see that, I'm thinking, flipping heck.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what Payet's gonna get done for something. I think Payet will get done for something. And they'll have the video footage, because I know a lot of the players had, they were tweeting the red marks and scratch marks on their shoulders. There was one of the Nice coaching staff has been pictured actually manhandling a supporter, but obviously photos, a frozen picture, it could have been that he was attacked. So that's something else that they're going to be looking at. Again, I just don't understand it. My brain just can't comprehend what happened. And then Amazon, again, this was another thing. Obviously, Amazon have paid the rights to the French. They wanted the game played. The players had said that they didn't want to play it. The few police, I suppose, that were in there were saying, well, it's impossible to get the fans off. Amazon were the last people to accept that the game was off. So again, that's again down to money. So is it a money thing? Is the game going to get replayed? Is it going to get replayed with 10 minutes left? Are they going to replay the whole game? All of these things, it's a mess. These are things that they're going to have to sort out, and it's not going to be sorted out, next week, and then is it behind closed doors again? It's chaos. It's chaos again, man.
I wonder if Nice were obviously 1-0 up, weren't they? So if Nice are 1-0 up, I do wonder if they'll take away the 3 points and give it to Marseille. Or it was Marseille. No, hang on a minute. Yeah. No, I got it wrong. So look, Nice been quite clever there, actually, maybe, because they're the ones that wanted to continue. They were the ones that were winning. Marseille, they'll probably just take the loss, probably.
You think so? Or the law room? I don't know. There must be something. There's going to be some law 0.775 written in, some small little passage where it says there'll be some rule that they'll dig up where it'll benefit whoever it needs to benefit, really. I mean, it's something that they'll make up anywhere and plonk it in somewhere, So it just, they've just come back. The season's just started. Wouldn't you think that you'd be so joyous and so happy that you're in the stadium, you've got a ticket, you're interested in busting a man's neck with a bottle? It just doesn't make no sense to me.
And they've been out for a long time, fans, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's worse in France.
Second game in, they're all throwing bottles and flares and fighting, trying to fight the players.
Oh my God!
So they want it to be abandoned for life in France or something.
I said that they'll probably make it a behind closed doors thing again, and then there'll be more headache.
Yeah, and less revenue as well. Which, talking about revenue, Mr. B, we're going to go on to our next topic, which is about money in football. But before we do, just read out a few more comments because we're nearly at the end. We're going to go for another 15 minutes. Please do smash a like, share, subscribe if you can. It means so much. Where was we on the... Here he was. It was not very nice from the fans. No, it wasn't very nice. No, it wasn't indeed. It was like a scene out of 300 or something. No police, just stewards. Yeah, cheers, Monday. I completely agree with you on that. Run things. In all seriousness, good that the Payet threw it back. They could have hurt him, and it's double. It's not a good thing that he threw it. It's double standards. Nice should. I keep saying Nice because I'm not seeing it as Nice. Nice should be playing behind closed doors for a few matches, in my opinion. Yeah, we did say that might happen, Mr. B, innit? Hi, Matt, Mr. B. Maybe not on the Southampton game.
That won't be happening. That won't be happening again too. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Big up, Anthony. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Smash the like, everybody, if you're here. Viewers are going up. Nice. See, again, Nice. I'm not going to do a watch along when Nice is playing Brest, right? I'm not doing it. I'm not saying nice breast. You know, I was saying Nice is probably the most heated derby in League One. Yeah, we did read that one out as well. So, yeah, move on to the last topic then, Mr. B. What do you think about this topic? Is money in football ruining the game? I mean, talking about all these fees coming in for players and agents and transfers and states owning football clubs and stuff like that. Do you think going this way in the future of football is ruining the game?
If the rules are there that if you've made the rules that a state or a country can own a football club, then you don't like it, you need to change the rules. To me, it's as simple as that. With Man United, obviously, they had their issues. They've got their issues. It's long, so I'm not going to go into that whole scenario. But you have a rule that makes it possible for these things to happen, and then complain when it happens. These people need to have, the forward thinking to accept that these things might happen. So, okay, you look at PSG, Man City. PSG, prime example. They've just got Messi. That deal was done in less than a week. Let's be honest. Barcelona said he's not done, and they've come in there and paid him whatever he wants to get paid. That part of it, I can understand why people are saying, oh, it's a disgrace, blah, 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 blah. That's how the rules are. If the rules are like that, nobody's broken the rules. Well, they say, all right, we say they haven't broken the rules, but we all think that Man City have done a bandooly somewhere along the line. But if you can't prove it, there's nothing that you can do. FFP, what is it there for? Really? Who knows?
I don't.
It's just there to say that they're doing something. Yeah, I like this. To say that they're doing something when they're not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
The money will always... See, now it's millionaires, it's billionaires, not millionaires. And maybe that's where the problem is. If it was down to millionaires, then I'm not me, but, you could have a man who maybe sold his bike business and made 200 million, could get involved in a football club. Now, you can't do it. So, maybe those people, it's ruining football. For me, it's not ruining football. We get to see the best players. I'm not paying, his wages. I understand that some people feel it's unfair that Man City can go out and spend £100 million on a player. But if your club could do it, you would do it. If Tottenham could spend £100 million on a player, they would do it. If Marseille could spend £100 million on a player, they would do it. So it's ruining it in regards to me. Maybe it's not quite a fair playing field in regards to that. You've got these teams who could pick this, but they can only pick 11 players. You can only pick 11 players in your team. So if you've got, Messi, Mbappe and Neymar, then Di Maria can't play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then it's up to Di Maria. Does he accept that he's going to be sitting down and get paid a wedge of money for doing nothing, which it seems like a lot of them will do? Or do you want to go out there and play? So you say, go on.
Just because you're saying about Di Maria, I did see some highlights of the game they played the other day, and he was sitting in the stands. He looked pretty happy, mate, sitting there in his suit and, chilling out, getting drinks. you know, like, and I think sometimes players, especially at his age, the fact that he's just won Copa America as well, and he's won the Champions League, he's won the Liga, he's won the league in France, didn't win nothing for Man United, no. Actually had things taken off of him at Man United. Yeah. You know, burglary's not funny, but I don't know. Like,
sorry, I thought that was a good one. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to be laughing.
I'm kind of glad that he did go, actually, though, to be fair, because he was just too much of a big ego. And I think isn't that the problem, I think, at the moment in football? The money that the players get, which is making it different, because they're now taking leadership of what's going on at clubs and teams, like player power, to be specific.
Do you think it's certain players, or do you think it's the majority of players? Because, you know, there's a level of, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Messi and Ronaldo, who are number one. You've then got a Lewandowski, Neymar level. Do you think it's that level that's causing maybe the issues that we're seeing in regards to, they probably feel that they should be closer to Messi and Ronaldo?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's to do with, like, outside of your wages of the club as well, like the sponsorship deals from, like, you know, Adidas, Nike, and hair gels and Gillette and all sorts of things like that change you. I mean, look at Ronaldo. Look at the size of his ego. He's got everything. Hotels. You see him on adverts, didn't you, doing like these sort of weight things, and like, I just think that makes them think that they're. I mean, look at Ibrahimovic as well. Like, you know, yeah, he's like the pinnacle. He's a good lad, though. I love what he's comedy with it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he is real. He's down to earth, but he's still got a very big ego about him. And I don't know. I think maybe you're right. I don't think it's necessarily every player. I mean, who was it for Arsenal as well, who used to think he was Bentner? Nicholas Bentner.
Oh my God, yeah, Lord Bentner, he called himself, didn't he?
He thought, yeah, I'm going to be number one. Like, they're going to be paying me the best. I'm going to be up there with Messi, Ronaldo. He had a big ego, and he never made it. And like, he's nowhere now. And I just kind of think, like, was it the big ego before you got the deal that ruined the deal, or should you waited to get the deal then to have a big ego? He didn't really put in the effort, and I don't know. I think money can change your mind, can't it?
Yeah, you know, I mean, the thing is, they don't. The money that they earn, let's be honest, to us is make believe money. You know, 200 grand a week. I mean, you know, 2 weeks' wages. I'm happy. You know, so it's. I suppose everything's relevant. If you think you're the best player at the club, you want to be getting in the best amount of money, the most amount of money. And I suppose it's only certain clubs who can pay that level of money. So is money ruining football? You still haven't answered me. You still haven't told me.
I think it's a 50-50, isn't it? There has to be money in football, doesn't there, at some point? Because that's what the system that we live in anyway. But I think some parts of football are being ruined by it. Like you said, at the start about states and countries owning football clubs, if that's written in the rules, you might want to think of changing them. So yeah, I mean, it's 50-50. Some parts, yeah, it's good. The money's good that gets invested into it, and other parts it's bad. Because you got like teams like Man United and their owners, they're not putting in a penny, they're just taking out, right? So they're making a crap load of money off of what we put into as fans, players, etc., and they take all the profit. Where you look at Man City, they're not really making any profit, are they? It's a little
but I see, and that's where you look at it. For Man United, it's money making. For Man City, it's easy money. But then I look at a team like Leicester, where it looks like their owners are maybe their owners aren't putting money in and they're only taking money out. But I don't know the full ins and outs, but from the outside, it looks like that is how I would want my club to be run, where it's run within your means, but then people's means are different. Manchester United's income is so big compared to a Leicester or a Newcastle that then you talk about the financial fair play. Where does it become fair play? Because if it's a percentage of what Man United's turnover is, nobody should be able to compete with us. Let's be honest. And that's where I know this whole movement, bits and pieces of the movement we're not going to go into now, goes into. So I just think it's where you are on the food chain to regards to whether you feel that the money's ruining it. If you're near the top, then it's not really an issue. You're just moaning that the person above you's got more money than you. Whereas if you're bottom, you don't care. You just want whatever you can take, whatever you can get,
Yeah. I completely agree with that. So are you saying it's ruining football?
See, and I don't know. See, and that's how I want to see the best players. I want to see the best players, but I support a big club, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to accept. If you're supporting a team like Arsenal, who, have gone backwards and can't spend any money now, then you're probably thinking, oh, it's not fair. Dig at Arsenal. Yeah, I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
When I say don't do drugs, I basically mean don't support Arsenal. Bad for you. Very bad for you. Wonder when they're going to score a goal, Mr. B. Is it going to be 4 games in? Because obviously they got Man City next, so I don't think they're going to get any goals there either. It's a tough run, isn't it, for games for them?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Let's be honest. It's beautiful to see.
I bet Arteta's like, bastards. Why couldn't you give me an easy run like Man United and we go and trip up against Southampton?
Yeah.
But you'll get onto that, won't you, in a minute, Mr. B? We might as well get there, haven't we? Read out just a few more comments before we finish off. Tiho says, in my opinion, Half-Light is obviously without money, clubs would cease to exist, of course, but I don't like the amount of money brought in. This is pretty much what I was trying to say, but I'm on that. I'm a bit 50-50. Big up Matt and Mr. B. Big up Charlie, mate. Big up Maisie. Hello, Matt and Mr. B. Hope you're well. Hey. Anthony Herbert, again, money can, but it's the lower teams I feel a bit for. But these teams that don't have a lot, they can beat these top teams, and we've seen that. I agree with that.
It's just consistently, that's the problem, isn't it?
That is consistent. Mr. B got money. Look at all the memorabilia behind him. Yeah, you're the owner of Flamengo, aren't you? Not? No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
It's a nice background, Mr. B. I don't know what Anthony's going on about. It took a lot.
Oh, God.
Leave the Arsenal out of this, but not Arteta. Cool. That's rubbish. Oh, hang on. One more. Hello. Thank you, Mr. Mundi Juma. Right, we'll finish it off there, Mr. B. Thank you so much for coming back on again, mate. Good chat.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
I know, mate. Pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming on. Shout out, mate, where everybody can find you. The best Man United channel on YouTube. That's what I am.
Thanks. I'm not going to blow that trumpet, but I think we're pretty decent, actually. You can find me on the Man United agenda. Studs up on a Monday. Starts at 8:00. We have a Wednesday show. We have a Friday show. We have a preview show the day before most games and finishes. And you can find me on FTB as well. And also on Mr. B Online on Twitter. If you've got anything that you want to say to me, that's me. Done.
Brilliant, mate. Nice one. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mr. B. And everybody for viewing today. Thank you so much. Anthony, one more time. Always a laugh with Mr. B. Is indeed. Thank you for tuning in today. Please do smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. And we'll be back, I believe, tomorrow for Football United Airways, where we're going into the Eredivisie League with Tiho, who should be on, hopefully. And yeah, we'll be back for the Politic'S show next week. Until then, take care, Mr. B. Take care, everybody else.
See you.
Bye-bye.